Christmas. We had just survived, barely, going into yet another provincial lockdown on December the 26th, Boxing Day. Nonetheless, we were still able to celebrate Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and now we were working our way towards Lent and Ash Wednesday. It was almost as if God himself had come down, had a meeting with Doug Ford, and we were able to be back into the churches by Ash Wednesday. Back to our 30% capacity. Crowds were strong. Everything was going just fine. Case counts were slightly elevating day after day, but nothing too serious. And then, on Thursday, April the 1st, Holy Thursday, this. The government of Ontario announced the emergency brake would be pulled, and we would be in another state of semi-lockdown, with all the regions of Ontario moving to the gray zone. Church was reduced to 15% capacity. Really, it was a wonder that we were able to have Easter at all. However, the diocese had put into the works some robust safety plans to keep everybody safe and to keep the cleaning up. We were able to gather still at 15%, or 150 people in our church. On Holy Thursday, we were able to have a fairly straightforward, normal Mass, minus the washing of the feet, but we were still able to do everything else that we were pretty much used to, except the long extended adoration periods at the end of Mass with the Blessed Sacrament. Good Friday was also very well attended for 3 different services that we did have, however very much simplified, with no veneration, no singing of the choir, no choir pieces, cantor and organ with a cappella singing. This year, the veneration consisted of Father Ian simply holding up the cross and all bowing and venerating that way in silence, without a procession by the cross. Simplified, but also very meaningful at the same time. Easter Vigil, I would say, was a smashing success. Even without the choir, we were able to have 7 people welcomed into our faith community here at the Basilica. We had baptisms, and the confirmations took place. We even had a whole family participate in coming into the church.
I baptize you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Very fortunate to have Bishop Eustricki on hand to offer the sacrament of confirmation to those also receiving the sacrament alongside the baptism. Easter Sunday, we ended up having 5 masses to accommodate the crowds, and we still unfortunately had to turn away people at each mass. We did have the orchestra on hand and the cantor. A wonderful experience, but not quite the same as having the full choir there and a full church. It's still a very beautiful day, very meaningful day, and it was so nice to see all the people coming out even if you're only at 15%. And we were back to a stay-at-home order. No 15%, no church. Only 10 people allowed per mass, per service, per funeral, wedding, regular service. We were back to the old days again. Many people have asked about the recorded mass, and since we were back to recorded masses, I wasn't really going to speak about this, but so many people have asked what takes place and how it happens. So here's what happens during a recorded mass. Let's set up some cameras, shall we?
He approached me one night and asked me if he could buy a camera. And I was like, why do we need a camera? We can't travel anywhere right now. So sure enough, the camera arrived, and that is when Joe started figuring out how to put the Mass on YouTube. So with that being said, one camera came, and then another camera came, and speakers came, and recorders came. And I really didn't know how this was all going to come together. But as I was working upstairs in my office during the day, Joe was down here busily learning exactly how to edit cameras and how to apply to YouTube. So I have to give him credit for that. If I remember correctly, Joe and Rachel actually were talking about how to start a YouTube channel because, again, he had no real clear understanding as to what this was all going to look like. So, and then I know Rachel got super busy, and then Joe ended up taking it over from there. So that is how I believe the YouTube channel started off. We started off really slow, actually. Joe didn't know how long this would go on for, right? So when we started really slow, he had 2 cameras, a recorder, and he was learning how to splice everything together and putting it all up. And then, oh yes, then a new computer arrived, of course. So because we needed the technology in order to make it run faster and upload faster. So another delivery arrived, and it was a computer. I know that there were some nights that I would go to bed and Joe would just be still downloading and trying to figure out how to get everything off of the cameras and how to make it, splice it and make it look nice and match everything up. Now he does very much have an ear for putting them in their places, but with that being said, he was awake till 2, 3, 4 in the morning in order to download, edit, reframe, upload, and then send it all off to YouTube and have it up and ready for you guys. So yeah, many times he was rolling into bed at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and not knowing, back up again for a mass to be on for Sunday so that everybody was able to have mass. I'm pretty sure another package arrived. Another computer arrived, I'm not sure, but I know that Joe got extremely creative with his opening credits. I believe it looks like Star Wars. Yes, Star Wars. And that's extremely exciting for Joe. He was able to pull a bunch of shots and he was busy taking pictures of his own in order for him to put them into the camera shots. So Joe was very excited one night when he had finally figured out that if he left the watermark off, he was able to merge everything together, save it, and then add the watermark and save it again, and then he would be able to, I think he shaved like half of the saving time off, and then he was in bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning, right? So I can tell you honestly that the excitement actually continues. He has had big supporters, watching his YouTube numbers climb every Saturday and getting new subscribers. So it's very exciting for Joe. I'd rather hear about those than the COVID-19 numbers that he also gives me on a daily basis. But anyways, it's pretty amazing to have up to over 500 subscribers now. The ladies that have been cantering for him have been absolutely amazing, and they have kept his sanity at times when I have not been around in order to keep his sanity, and that allows for creative juices just to continue. So I believe it was about 6 Sundays ago that Joe became very excited that he was actually able to merge the cantor picture and Father's picture at the same time, and he was able to display them both at the same time. So I'm sure that cost us another camera, I'm not sure, but anyways, here we are today, and Joe has lots and lots of subscribers. So his creativity will just keep going. His desire to bring church to the parishioners and to bring church to his people is extremely exciting for Joe. I always joke about when Joe has something big coming up around music and playing, that he actually plays the piano, plays the organ in his sleep, because I know that it's playing on his brain when he's dreaming. Well, I have just learned something new, that when Joe is editing and singing along with everybody, that he actually breathes to the beat of the music, and I think that's quite fascinating. So it speaks to the passion that he has for his music and the talent that he brings to everybody. So my promise to you is that I will continue to hopefully keep him calm and settled on this end, and he will continue to bring good music to you guys. So thank you.
So the software I use is Final Cut Pro 10 for Mac. A great program, a step up, big step up from the iMovie program. So here's a little demo of what happens to edit the Mass. So there is the opening intro, which I've created, and it comes up every week, and just change the date and the title, any news flashes at the beginning, and then we come through, normal sequence, title of the opening hymn, and it goes through to the end of that opening sequence, which I change up now and again. Now we bring the main footage from the main camera into the timeline, and there it is, all there, and I end up finding a trim point where I want to actually start that camera footage to begin, usually when Father is coming out. And then we cut it, trim it, and there we are. And then we bring in the main audio feed, and This is a matter of trimming it up as well. It runs for several minutes when I turn it on, and then I go back upstairs to get ready to play. So I have to trim out all the dead air at the beginning and essentially match it up to the footage. So the audio is recorded separate from the video and all processed digitally with the program Final Cut Pro to match it all up in sync, so we can have the best possible sync up that we can and the best possible product. And then we bring it in, we match it up, audio to the video, and that's the first basic step really. And then what we can do from there, we can bring in other camera footage from the other cameras. There's the high altar cam right there. It shows you the view from the high altar. So what we can do is we can pick a point wherever, just an example at this point. We can bring it in and drop it in, and there we have it. But as you see, it's got that fisheye effect, as it's a wide lens. So we go in and we put the correction on there so we get the waviness out of it, and then we can scale it in to the 16:9 frame that we have. And there we have it. From there, what we can do is we can make it pop out a little bit. We put a Blockbuster feature color LUT onto it, and it really brings out the blue in the ceiling and some of the other colors in there. I find it's a really nice feature to have to bring out some of the colors inside the church, especially the blues. And then we have the main footage. We can also put that color LUT on, make Father look like he's got a bit of a tan, and it just sharpens up the colors, basically. And then we bring that back into play, and then from there you can see we can scroll along, and then we can add in things like the titles of the hymns or the readings or such. So we bring that in, and this is all a process. Everything has to be done for each. And there you can see this title. It comes default yellow, but we don't like yellow, as you know from the mass footage. I like to use the red. So there's the red. And then we can adjust the text or whatever. We have a spot where we can put the logo in right there, and then put our font, change our font, put our title, and there you have it basically. And that goes on. There's a timeline of the whole mass so far, shrunken down, and it all scrolls along, as you can see. And then finally, the big thing, which is big contention, is this watermark that we put in. The watermark is such a high definition image. It actually adds tremendously to the save time for the actual whole video. So it adds about 45 minutes onto the final save time when we save this video. So we bring it in, we shrink it, we put it up to the corner like that, click done, and then we drag that along for the whole entire mass. So then it remains up in that top corner like that. Massive file. And some of these files are big. As I say, the Easter Vigil were upwards of 400 plus gigs of just raw footage.
Well, I don't know that anybody could have predicted how important social media and YouTube would become for our parish at the Basilica of Our Lady Immaculate. And I know I, for one, had no idea how much I would come to rely on the streaming portion of my faith during this pandemic. When we first went into lockdown and the pandemic was called and everything was canceled and everything got shut down, I was preparing for the Easter season, which has always been a huge part of our parish life. And I wasn't even sure how to proceed or what would happen. So when I first was asked if I could come and help get the Mass online for the public, my first thought was, well, I mean, I know how to live stream. so I think that was our first few attempts. We set everything up. I have a tripod for my cell phone, and we put it up on social media. And I remember one of the first masses, I forgot to auto rotate my phone, and the whole first part of the mass was sideways. I definitely felt the pain of failure in that moment, but we persevered, and I then brought my own cameras to the church, and I set up a couple of Canon cameras that I had mainly used for photography, but decided, you know, this would be better than my cell phone for filming. And we set that up, and I got comfortable with, you know, the angles and the lighting and the auditory, and we worked together to get something online for parish family. And luckily I had some experience with iMovie, so I was able to work with Joe. And at first I was doing the mass editing, but I do work full-time, so it wasn't exactly easy for me to do, and luckily Joe's a quick learner, so he eagerly took over and was able to get going with iMovie in ways that I hadn't even perceived yet. So he definitely worked some magic with the editing there, and we have come a long way. So when we first started out and we didn't know much about COVID-19 or the virus or even transmission, I was the only cantor coming to the church in the beginning. And it was basically on a wing and a prayer. I was working both the cameras and doing the singing, and I remember feeling quite frazzled trying to multitask. But I very much had that feeling of we've got to do this, we've got to get this out to our family and help people in this time. So setting up for Easter was surreal. I don't think I could have ever expected. It was very, in a way it was more profound for me, as it deepened my faith in just helping people and hoping that the little bit that I could contribute was reaching the people at home, and hoping that the power of prayer from Father Ian and his words would reach the parish family and anyone else that would happen to come across our little YouTube channel. And definitely we had our challenges, but I think we did okay. I think we did okay. I think one of the things I miss the most, besides getting together with our parish and the friendly faces we would see every week in person, I definitely miss singing with the choir. We could do such magic together, the sounds of our voices ringing in the parish hall, and with one lonely voice in the church, it's not the same. It's definitely not the same. So I really do miss the choir and the camaraderie that we all have together, and that's going to be it's going to be a big change moving forward, and I really hope we can get back to that soon. When I think back on the last year and how the pandemic has affected my faith and how we've moved forward, I'm really proud. I'm really happy with what we did and the pursuit of putting this online, and the support from Father Ian, and the understanding when things didn't go as planned, and just the working together and making it possible. It was a really good thing, and we've gotten such positive feedback. It's really made my heart happy to see how well our online masses have been received, and to think that when we started, I don't even know if Joe knew what iMovie was before we started. And to go from that free little software and a couple of tricks that I knew and then taking it on to even better software and upgrading everything that's been upgraded in the last year, I feel we have a wonderful platform for our parish family and anyone else that wants to listen in and hear the Word of God from our Basilica of Our Lady Immaculate. So I'm really happy with how things went. I think it's been really important that we've been able to take our parish and the beauty of the Basilica of Our Lady Immaculate and the powerful words from Father Ian and the contributions of all of our readers and singers and all of the volunteers, and to be able to put that online and share that with the world in this time has been an amazing feat. And I'm really happy to have been able to work with Joe and with the team at the Basilica, and I'm really excited to see where it takes off from here. I really do hope that as we get back to public life and seeing people in person, I really hope that we can maintain this online service. I think it has reached a lot of people, and I hope that many that have been stuck at home longer than the pandemic for health and disability reasons, I hope that this has reached them and supported them through this time, and also that we can continue to do this moving forward into the future. So I think that would be my hope for the future, is that we are able to continue on this online platform.
My dear brothers and sisters, my dear friends, we're living in a very difficult time, and it seems that we are living in the night of the darkness. Our lives seems to have no sense of so much depression, loneliness, isolation from the lifestyle that we were all used to living, affecting almost all the countries, all societies, all the health systems, and is disrupting varying spheres of our social, political, economical lives, and it also intruding into our spiritual domain. Although this spiritual life is the foundation of human existence and is getting more attention in a global health. Spiritually is that the aspect of the humanity that refers to the way individuals seek and express meaning and purpose and experience our connectedness to the moment, to the self, to the others, to nature, and to the significance of sacred. Despite the lingering uncertainty, COVID-19 silently offers us an opportunity to reflect on the spiritual impact it has on the world and our communities and every individual. In this broad sense, the spiritual impact is currently not unequivocally positive. However, I am convinced that in the end, humanity all together, we can take a spiritual leap forward. I have been living here for a year, and since then we have interrupted our pastoral work several times. I have not yet had the opportunity to live or to socialize with all of you. With the choir, for example, and with other pastoral agents. However, this crisis cannot have the last and decisive word in our pastoral and in our action with our brothers and sisters. I think that's my understanding. It's exactly in moments of trial that we can show that we are stronger and we are united. And I would like to quote from the letter of James, the chapter 1, verses 2 and 3. My brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of any kind, consider it nothing but joy, because you know that the testing of your faith produces endurance. And let endurance have its full effect, so that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing. Yeah, exactly. These moments gives us this opportunity to be stronger together, to demonstrate our faith, to demonstrate we maintain our community alive. Let us continually to pray to the Lord, to the end of this pandemic, in order to give us the spiritual comfort that we desire and long for. I am finishing my pastoral year in this parish, and soon I will go to another parish. But I will always be united, as the Apostle said, coronum et anima una. It means to be united in the same heart, prayer and soul. May the Lord bless all of you. Thank you.
So there we are. Music ministry turned into video producing, but it's what we need to do to get through this. On a final note, just when I leave you now, I'm going to end off with the clip from this Easter Sunday, and halfway through, I'm going to flip over to Easter Sunday from 2011. Adrian, as wonderful as you are, you did a great job this year, but I think anybody, including Adrian, will agree it's not the same when you have full voices, full orchestra up here, as it used to be. So in this final clip, about halfway through, we're going to transition from Adrian over to the full choir, and we'll leave you with that, and we'll see you in the summer for the next episode. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. Also, if you can hit that thumbs up, like button, it really helps with the support of the channel, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.